Fellas, in today's video, we are looking at the top 5 best and top 5 worst character changes that happened in Marvel Rivals Season 2.5. Now, there was a lot of changes that did happen. Some were good, some were just awful. But just to give you an idea of how it will look, one of the best changes happened for the Punisher. What did he get? Reduced movement slow rate when using his ultimate. Whether he's shooting or not shooting, it varies a little bit. More ammo for his basic attack. There's reduced spread for his basic attack and increased single target damage of his base attack. He got buffed in so many different ways with basically no drawbacks, and that's just of itself. In this season where flyers tend to be very popular, as well as triple support again, oddly, Punisher players are eating good right now. And then a good one for the top 5 worst is with the Human Torch. The last bit of Season 2, Human Torch was everywhere. He got banned a ton in ranked, and now he has reduced damage of his basic attack. There's more cooldowns. He gets less shield values from things. He just took a big hit, and I'm not saying he's bad by any means, but you're likely not going to see him much anymore. Not as often as he once was. And so out of all the games of ranked that I played so far, Human Torch hasn't been banned. I don't think I've actually seen him in any of my games yet this season, now that I think about it. So he really took a hit. Because I'm uncertain on how to really gauge it, I just want to knock this out now. We have Jeff. It's bad, but it's also kind of fine, but it's bad. I just want to make a special notice because Jeff is Jeff. To put it lightly, they completely changed how he plays and functions. So now he heals and damages with his basic attack, and it's actually not that bad. He does have a timer now on his dive underwater, which is justifiable. I can get behind it. It's justifiable. But they really nerfed his secondary shots and his bubbles. So you're not playing him as a real diver or flanker anymore. He is pretty much at the back of the line. Sometimes near the front. He can hold his own still. He has decent survivability if you play him right. It's a new way to play, but he's a lot different than what he once was. Right here we have Squirrel Girl. Why did they buff her? She has more ammo, decrease the cooldown of Mammal Bond, and I haven't actually seen it in progress yet, but optimize the user experience of several abilities, including her ult. I have not heard one person in the entirety of this game say Squirrel Girl needs a buff, and they buff her again. I don't know, man. So she's better than she was last season, and she was still really good last season, but anyways, these two categories at the bottom really aren't important. I just wanted to point them out. Actually, Thor got a rework as well, kinda. They switched around how his Thor Force and the shielding works. He's very aggressive now. You could play him very aggressively. He's basically a glorified DPS who has a lot of health. Will take a little bit of an adjustment to play him proper, but I think we should end up seeing a lot of him. So one that I don't see talked about as much that I do think is surprisingly really well is with Star-Lord. Star-Lord, there was a nerf technically. The amount of energy needed for his ultimate, but now it has extended range and reduced the damage fall off, so he can hit you with it from further for more damage. His ultimate was very strong before. It's not a broken ultimate, but it is going to force out a lot of support ults. So if you do play Star-Lord and keep track of the enemy support ults, you're going to have a real good time with him. It's a real good buff. And then you got one like Storm where they did buff her ultimate by 10 damage, which, okay. And while I don't think it's going to be the worst thing that has happened, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong category. Star-Lord isn't the best. I don't know why I have them backwards. I'm not changing it now. But Iron Fist got a heck of a nerf as well. So they lowered the conversion rate of the damage blocked bonus health, decreased the maximum bonus health from the Dragon's Defense slightly, but it is a nerf. Slightly reduced his what is the name of it? The Yachi Kung Quan ability. I can't say that one proper. Oh well. And then they reduced the cooldown of the Dragon's Defense from his punches, so it takes even longer to get. So not only is it worse, it takes longer to get. I honestly think that he did need some type of nerf like that, and he plays a lot more fluid now. You still have a problem with Iron Fist. It's not like he's a broken character or he's no longer playable, but I do think it is a little bit more balanced. Just to have this one up there because I think she did need it. With Psylocke, they reduced the time of her invisibility from 3 to 2 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you are trying to get away or to get into position, all the time matters. And as a ninja, it's kind of weird that it's shorter now. And then decrease the retrieval damage of the wing shurikens. It's kind of weird that they didn't nerf her team up ability, but it's still a pretty big hit to her. I think one of the greater ones actually, and for some reason he's not as common at the moment, is with Namor, because they did increase the cooldown of his Blessing of the Deep ability, the shield. Yes, fine. But with his ultimate, they expanded the radius, and the inside now does more, but the outside of it does a little bit less. So it's easier to hit people, but those on the outer rings will have a little bit more health when they get back up. I think that was a good change. They also adjusted the squids to have less fall off damage at greater ranges. They now hit harder at a greater range, which is good in a season of flyers at the moment. But just as a general for Namor, I don't know if Doctor Strange makes the top 5, but at the very least he'll be an honorable mention, because it is a really nice change. Because they did change up the damage fall off of his basic attack, but they removed the range damage fall off of his E ability, the Maelstrom of Madness, which was one of the biggest benefits of him in the early seasons. Because if you used your ultimate, then popped your E, that could kill people. And then they kind of tinkered around with this so it wasn't as strong, but that's back now and it is really good. So at the very least, he is on the board. If you have not played Doctor Strange or you stopped, now's the time to pick him back up. Where's this guy at? Hawkeye. Hawkeye's going right up there, just below Punisher, but above Namor. Hawkeye has received more base damage to his arrow. Increase the projectile damage of the blast arrow and the spell effect of blast arrow. And then increase the maximum focus from 70 to 75. They increase the charging speed while aiming at an enemy, and the charge fall off speed is also a little bit more. Hawkeye did not need any buffs, but they buffed him. I don't know why the devs love Hawkeye so much, but he's having a good time. There wasn't too many hero changes. This isn't talking about team up abilities, because otherwise Venom would be up there. But there actually wasn't all that many like nerfs that really matter. Because in this case, Groot also did receive some serious nerfs, all things considered, to his wall taking longer to cooldown, and the vine strikes to the wall doing less damage, 5 damage per hit, which is nothing end of the day. But really, there's not a lot of nerfs that happen. Actually, one that I do think is important because she is a popular character, and honestly, I'd even say it's above Psylocke, is Emma Frost. So while they did increase the range of her basic attack, which is really nice, they took 100 health off of her shield, which is bonkers for a shield tank. They also increased the cooldown of the Carbon Crush, so you can no longer use it twice per cycle, and they decreased the damage of the kick and then kick into wall, which was like the highlight ever. So it's not that she's garbage now by any means, but it is a considerable nerf. But there's also just not a lot of nerfs that happen this season. So for the top 5 worst in order is Human Torch, Iron Fist, Emma, Psylocke, then Groot. Emma took a bigger nerf than Psylocke did, although she did get some nice benefits. I'm just looking at the nerfs here. And then for the buffs, I think this is in good order as well. We have Punisher, Hawkeye, Namor, Star-Lord, and then Doctor Strange. Because Doctor Strange is limited to his ultimate if you have it charged up, which you should. That's really a user thing. But with Star-Lord, his entire ultimate is buffed, which is nice. That's kind of the same thing with Namor, but he does get the bonus to his squid range. Hawkeye in general just got buffed up, and Punisher in general got buffed up. So with Jeff and Thor, you could argue that they are pretty substantial nerfs. And at first I did think that way. They're reworks, so they're just different now. They play differently. If on the next patch they change up like the damage or the healing or add effects, things like that, yeah, maybe we can add them to the list. But right now they're just different, and that's fine. And then of course, why though, with Squirrel Girl, because somehow I have to put her on every single list that I make. Or she did get some nice buffs though. And some of the other characters did get some changes, especially with the most recent patch. Anyways, hit that like button if you're still watching, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one. YouTube thinks you like this video next. Let me know if you do.